Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the deepest, darkest corner of the reality TV universe, where today we are not just scratching the surface, we are digging straight into the mud. For years, we have watched the slow, agonizing, and often bizarre unraveling of Kody Brown. We've seen the marriages crumble, we've seen the relationships with his children disintegrate into dust, and we've heard the endless justifications for behavior that can only be described as narcissistic and erratic. But just when you thought you had heard it all, just when you thought this sister wives saga couldn't get any stranger, a new voice has entered the chat. And no, it is not one of the disgruntled ex-wives. It isn't an estranged child breaking their silence. It is an outsider. A witness who spent days trapped in the grueling trenches of reality TV warfare with the patriarch himself. We're talking about the Special Forces' world's toughest test contestant, Briana Drops, known to the internet as Briana Chicken Fry. And she has just dropped a nuclear bomb of information that exposes a side of Kody Brown we never wanted to know about, but absolutely need to discuss. We're talking about shocking hygiene habits that left castmates gagging. We're talking about strange, inexplicable behaviors that alienated him from the group. We're talking about a bag full of vitamins, but a complete lack of basic toiletries. And perhaps most explosively, we're talking about the alleged reaction from Robynbrown, who is reportedly so furious about these leaks that she is on a warpath. Today, we are connecting the dots between this new Smellgate scandal and Kody's bizarre pheromone comments on the latest season of Sister Wives. Is Kody Brown trying to weaponize his own scent? Is this the final proof of his complete detachment from social norms? Buckle up, grab your snacks. This is the story of Kody Brown, the missing deodorant, and the stink that was heard around the world. First, we need to clear up the confusion that has been setting the comment sections on fire. When the headlines first broke screaming "Briana exposes Kody," half the internet gasped, thinking it was Briana Brown, Robyn's daughter, finally breaking free from the McMansion and spilling the family tea. That would have been the ultimate betrayal, a Shakespearean twist of epic proportions. But the reality is actually far more bizarre. The Briana in question is Briana Drops, a Barstool Sports podcaster and fellow contestant on Season 4 of Special Forces, World's Toughest Test. Now, why does this matter? Because Briana Drops has zero loyalty to the Brown family. She has no NDA holding her back from the Sister Wives production company. She is a completely independent third party who is stuck in a car, in the desert, and in interrogation rooms with Kody Brown for days on end. Her testimony is unfiltered, unbiased, and frankly, hilarious. Unlike the family members who might sugarcoat things to keep the peace or protect their inheritance, Briana is just a girl who is stuck next to a smelly guy and lived to tell the tale. This context is crucial because it validates the strange behaviors we have been speculating about for years. When Christine or Janelle say Kody is acting erratic, the critics can claim it's just bitter ex-wife energy. But when a complete stranger, a 26-year-old influencer who admittedly didn't even know who Kody Brown was before filming, says, "This guy is weird, and he smells bad," it holds a different kind of weight. It confirms that the Kody we see on TV isn't just a character edited for drama. It is the raw, unfiltered reality of the man. Briana's accounts provide a fly-on-the-wall perspective that we have been desperate for. She describes a dynamic where Kody wasn't the feared patriarch, but the weird uncle of the group, the guy who brought a suitcase full of supplements but forgot the most essential item for social survival: deodorant. Let's get into the meat of the allegation, the deodorant incident. In a revealing interview with Decider published in late November 2025, Briana Drops didn't hold back. She described a specific moment that encapsulates the entire Kody Brown experience. The cast was traveling, crammed into a vehicle, nerves high, temperatures likely rising. And suddenly, the air in the car turned thick. It wasn't the smell of fear, it was the smell of Kody. Briana recounts looking at Kody, who had his arm raised, and being hit with a wave of odor so potent she couldn't stay silent. She turned to him and asked the question that was on everyone's mind. "Kody, why don't you have deodorant? You have a bag full of vitamins, but you didn't bring deodorant." Let's analyze that sentence for a moment. A bag full of vitamins. This is classic Kody Brown. If you watch Sister Wives, you know this man is obsessed with his health, his fitness, his six-pack abs, and his vitality. He swallows handfuls of supplements. He talks about his testosterone levels. He preens in front of the mirror. He prioritizes the internal narrative of being a virile, strong alpha male. But when it comes to the external consideration for the people around him, basic hygiene, he completely drops the ball. Briana's observation highlights a supreme level of narcissism. He packed the things that serve him, the vitamins, the energy boosters, but he neglected the one thing that serves the group, not smelling like a locker room that hasn't been cleaned since 1995. And Kody's reaction? He laughed. According to Briana, he was a good sport about it, but he didn't fix it. He admitted in his own follow-up interview that he hadn't showered for days. His excuse? He was afraid of the directing staff, the DS. He claimed he was terrified that if he got into the shower, the DS would storm in and drag him out naked for an interrogation, and he didn't want to be caught in a vulnerable state. So his solution was to simply marinate. 4 days. While this might sound like a strategic survival decision, it speaks to a deeper paranoia that seems to plague Kody. He is constantly operating from a place of fear of poverty, fear of his wives leaving, fear of the government, and now, fear of the shower police. But instead of mitigating that fear with logic, like taking a quick 30-second wash, he defaults to the most extreme, antisocial behavior possible, subjecting a car full of strangers to his biohazard-level body odor. If this was just a one-time incident on a survival show, we might give Kody a pass. We might say, hey, it's special forces, everyone smells. But we cannot ignore the timing. This revelation comes almost exactly at the same time as the airing of a Sister Wives episode where Kody Brown makes one of the most stomach-churning admissions in the show's history. During a scene where he and Robyn are moving boxes, yet again, Kody begins what he calls peacocking. He lifts his arms, sniffs his own pits, and literally invites Robyn to smell him. He tells the cameras and his horrified wife that he is using his stinky body to flirt. He claims he wants Robyn to smell his pheromones and that his musk should be a turn-on for her. This is where the Briana expose stops being a funny anecdote and starts being a psychological profile. Kody Brown genuinely believes that his natural scent is a gift to women. He has deluded himself into thinking that his hygiene failure is actually a biological power move. When Briana Chicken Fried told him he stunk, he laughed because, in his mind, he probably thought, that's just the smell of a real man. He doesn't see it as offensive. He sees it as primal. This connects back to the manosphere ideologies Kody has been consuming. He's likely read somewhere that high-value males have potent pheromones that attract females, and he has twisted that pseudoscience into an excuse to skip showers. Watching Robyn's reaction in that Sister Wives scene is telling. She tries to play it off, saying she'll give him attention when he isn't doing that, but you can see the exhaustion in her eyes. She is living with a man who thinks smelling bad is a form of foreplay. And now, thanks to Briana, we know this isn't just a bit for the cameras. He actually walks around like this. He goes into professional settings, high-stakes TV productions, and confined spaces smelling like vitamins and sweat, assuming the world will just deal with it because he is Kody Brown. It is a level of entitlement that is almost impressive if it weren't so gross. Beyond the hygiene, Briana LaPaglia exposed the strange behaviors that define Kody's interactions with the outside world. For decades, Kody has been insulated in his polygamous bubble. He was the center of his own universe, surrounded by women and children who were religiously conditioned to treat him as the priesthood holder, the leader, the king. But on Special Forces, he was stripped of that title. He was just a guy named Kody. And according to Briana, he didn't know how to function. She described him as someone who needed to be reined in. She noted that he would make controversial comments that would catch everyone off guard, leaving the rest of the cast looking at each other in stunned silence. This confirms the social atrophy theory. Kody has forgotten how to interact with normal people. He is so used to monologuing, to preaching, to having the final say, that he doesn't understand the rhythm of a normal conversation. Briana described a dynamic where she almost had to babysit him socially, reminding him of the team aspects of the challenge. "Sometimes I think he forgot there were team aspects of it," she said. This is devastatingly accurate. Kody has spent the last 10 years destroying his team, his family, because he couldn't handle dissent. On a show that requires unity, he was still operating as a lone wolf, focused on his own survival, his own vitamins, and his own narrative, completely oblivious to the fact that his teammates were judging him. Briana also mentioned that she didn't know who he was before the show. This is crucial because it means her reaction to him was based purely on his current personality, not his fame. She didn't have a preconceived notion of Kody the villain. She just met a guy who was loud, lacked self-awareness, smelled bad, and said weird things. And that, in many ways, is a harsher verdict than anything Christine or Janelle could say. It proves that the problem isn't the wives. The problem isn't the editing. The problem is Kody. He is fundamentally a difficult, awkward, and socially abrasive person who repels people, even people who are paid to be around him. But the drama doesn't stop with Kody. Oh no. As with all things Brown family related, all roads eventually lead back to Robyn. Following Briana's comments about Kody's smell and his behavior, reports surfaced that Robyn Brown was absolutely livid. On her podcast, Briana dropped another bombshell. She claimed that Kody told the other cast members that Robyn couldn't come to the press tour or the reunion because if she did, she would murder Briana. Let's unpack that. Kody Brown, the man who demands respect above all else, is telling people that his wife is so unhinged with jealousy and rage that she cannot be in the same room as a 26-year-old woman who criticized his deodorant. This paints a terrifying picture of the dynamic inside the McMansion. It suggests that Robyn is not just the damsel in distress she plays on TV, but a fiercely protective, perhaps even controlling, force who monitors Kody's image with an iron fist. Why would Robyn be so angry? Is it because Briana embarrassed Kody? Or is it because Briana, young, blonde, and outspoken, represents a threat to Robyn's control? Kody himself tried to spin this in an interview, saying Robyn was embarrassed for him and felt protective. He said he had to leave her home to stop her from getting on anybody's case. Think about the language there. Kody talks about Robyn like she is an attack dog that needs to be crated. I had to leave her home. This completely shatters the narrative that Robyn is the submissive, obedient wife. It reveals that behind closed doors, she is likely the one calling the shots, the one fuming about public perception, and the one banning Kody from hanging out with the cool kids because they made fun of him. The Briana exposé didn't just reveal Kody's hygiene, it revealed the volatility of the Kody-Robyn marriage. They are battle buddies, as Kody says, fighting a war against reality itself. Why do we care about deodorant? Why is a 10,000-word script about hygiene relevant? Because hygiene is a proxy for mental state. When a person stops caring about how they present to the world, when they stop adhering to basic social contracts like don't smell bad in a crowded car, it signals a decline. Kody Brown is unraveling. We are watching a man who has lost his grip on the nuance of human connection. He has replaced love with loyalty. He has replaced intimacy with pheromones. He has replaced family dinners with vitamins. Briana held up a mirror to Kody Brown, and what we saw in the reflection was a tragedy. We saw a man who is so deep in his own delusion that he laughs when someone tells him he stinks. We saw a man who thinks he is a special forces warrior but is actually just a difficult devo who is afraid of the shower. This exposé is the final nail in the coffin of Kody's alpha male persona. A true leader takes care of his team. A true leader has self-awareness. A true leader puts on deodorant. Kody Brown does none of these things. And thanks to Briana, the whole world knows it. As we move further into this season of Sister Wives and the aftermath of Special Forces, keep Briana's words in mind. Every time you see Kody ranting on the screen, remember, he probably didn't shower that day. Every time he demands respect, remember, he was the guy in the car with the stinky pits and the bag of vitamins. The mystique is gone. The Emperor has no clothes and apparently no deodorant. We will be tracking this story as it develops. Will Robyn actually confront Briana? Will Kody issue a formal apology to the noses of America? Or will he double down and release his own line of manosphere musk? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, the smell of this scandal isn't going away anytime soon. Robyn Brown blasts ex-sister wives as phony, horrible role models. Robyn Brown is back on the attack. On the latest episode of Sister Wives, the sole remaining spouse of Kody Brown took aim at Janelle Brown and Mary Brown, her former partners in polygamy, and people she doesn't believe are very often their true and authentic selves. "I don't really endorse fakeness," Robyn said on air. And okay, let's pretend like everything's okay when it's not. Kody went on to back up his soulmate, stating for the cameras, "Robyn hates girl games. She reads nuance way different than me." These two confessions came after an awkward exchange with Janelle and Mary regarding the sale of their joint Coyote Pass property, which was eventually completed this past April, but which took a very long time to finalize. On the aforementioned episode, all three of these parties arrive at the site to meet with the realtor, only for everyone to stay far away from each other amid the negotiation process and contract signing. "They didn't even say hi, and they didn't even say bye," Mary said. It was okay, I am invisible to you. Janelle had similar feelings about the meeting, saying to viewers, "I think Robyn felt like she was going to be persecuted or attacked or something." And I'm no, we could be adults here. But whatever. Elsewhere on this same installment, Robyn laid into her former sister wives for their supposed influences on Kody's children. "I think there's some hurt feelings and misunderstandings and some influencing that's been happening," Robyn said in a conversation with Kody. "Some pretty intense influencing. For the record, Kody is barely on speaking terms with many of his kids. Also for the record, Kody has taken responsibility for these severed relationships, but Robyn told a different story on air." Elsewhere on this same installment, Robyn laid into her former sister wives for their supposed influences on Kody's children. "I think there's some hurt feelings and misunderstandings and some influencing that's been happening," Robyn said in a conversation with Kody. "Some pretty intense influencing. For the record, Kody is barely on speaking terms with many of his kids. Also for the record, Kody has taken responsibility for these severed relationships, but Robyn told a different story on air. "I'm just exhausted and so tired of being blamed for how his kids feel about him. It's his responsibility and not mine," Christine said on the November 23rd installment. Agreed Janelle, in a separate confessional. "Look, I wish I had a lot of influence on my adult children. Boy, things would be really different." At another point, Robyn suggested that the situation has been very, very confusing and challenging for his kids to understand, but even Kody then admitted, "I had a lot of mean things to say about their mothers as part of the problem." Robyn Brown was tricked into marrying Kody? Sister Wives star Michael T explains how family hid their issues. Robyn Brown didn't know the whole truth when she married Kody. We reported on Michael T's recent live stream in which she discussed her extended family, including both close and strained relationships. One of the most complex part of the Sister Wives story has been Robyn joining the family. According to Michael T, Kody wanted everyone to put on a friendly and conflict-free facade for his new wife. But that obviously couldn't last forever. Did Robyn Brown buy into a lie before marrying Kody? According to Michael T's YouTube live stream, Robyn Brown took years before becoming closed off around the rest of the extended family. Why? Because when she married Kody in 2010, she saw a happy family facade that hid their real problems. "Robyn didn't always used to be this shy," Michael T recalled. Robyn's shyness that she's been the last several years wasn't always Robyn. Remember, she would know. She lived with Robyn ahead of the marriage. "I think a lot of the shyness has been developed because she's been hardened by opinions," Michael T reflected. And hardened by reality where her family that she thought she was marrying into isn't what she thought it was. Apparently, Kody instructed his 3 wives at the time, all now his exes, and their many children to conceal the family's various problems from his new bride-to-be. "I think when she first joined the family, we were told to present this beautiful front," Michael T recalled. "Kind of like when we first started the show." According to her, Kody instructed the family that we needed to put our best foot forward and we needed to not have fights and show the world the beautifulness that is polygamy.